Let's go boating! Are you excited yet? Forwards! Hello there folks, I'm Dan Brown from Sort of Interesting, and today you're joining me, not quite on board good old Narrowboat Ablesark just yet, but in front of good old rosy red car here, and this is my first piggybacking narrowboat and car experience, which is basically the practice of, well, if you're out and about travelling and continuously cruising on a boat and happen to have a car, of taking the car to a point down the canal, fetching the boat up to that point, or maybe fetching the boat further up so then it's not as far to go back to the car and then go off on whichever direction you want to go on. If that sounds complicated, it's just because I've been really rubbish at explaining it. So we've wandered up the towpath and found a boat that I certainly like the look of. I think we'll take this one out for a spin. And yeah, this is the nature of piggybacking. So basically it might sound like a lot of effort and work, but what you've got to remember is if I was to take the boat, I don't know, say 4 miles away from where the car was parked, and then bike or walk back to the car and move it closer to the boat, and obviously I've got to travel that 4 miles either by boot or bike. However, once the car and the boat are within the vicinity, I haven't then got to travel into work or into town or to get supplies by bike or boot, which is where you then save the time. So as I've said previously and earlier in this year, when I was doing my 24-mile bike rides to get from down between Whitchurch and Wixall back to go to work, obviously, even if I had to walk a mile to get to the car, I'm saving 23 miles of exertion and effort multiple times a week. So anyway, yeah, that's the basic concept of piggybacking. But now, my friends, let's go boating. So the first job before going out on a little trip is to take the back cover down. Now, some people might think, why on earth do you spend all this time? Well, it's not much time, it's only about 2 minutes doing this instead of leaving it up. Well, firstly, you've got the low humpbacked arch bridges. So the last thing you want to do is hit one of those and then leave this down on the canal floating off behind you. And secondly, you also have greater tiller mobility when taking the cover down too. So as we set off here and just push out into the turning point and spin the boat around, it's remarkable how this footage looks almost, if it weren't for the greenery on the trees, as if it could have been taken anywhere from, let's say, late September right through till early March with the general overcastness. And yet, in true British summer form, this specific boat trip, that wasn't a particularly long boat trip, just a tester really, a trial run. And yet, even in the short while we were travelling, we had little bits of rain come down, then it went beautifully sunny, then it rained again, only a few spots. I'm not talking about heavy rain or anything, but again, just that mixture of weather that you just can't get the consistency at the minute to have some beautiful summer weather all for a week or two. I mean, this is extraordinary growth, and they have been cutting back bits and pieces like this, but you can see just how much here we're effectively reduced to a single lane of canal rather than the full width because of that huge overhanging section of trees and bushes here. As I say, these are the sort of things that they get around to cut in every now and then, but you still find some very good examples of it here. And you can see there that we're pretty close on that side, not as if we're trying to struggle through the thick jungles of, I don't know, somewhere jungly. But of course, you wouldn't have much room if you were trying to pass a moored boat or something. Which, as some of you know, my whole attitude towards boating and boat life is, if there's any mischief or anything that I don't like the look of, if there's potential confusion if you're coming up and there's a boat coming towards you and you've got a narrow section to go through, then you can see here we're travelling at, I'd say this is probably 3 miles an hour. Maybe, yeah, I'd say in that region. If you're travelling that slow anyway, then I've always had the simple attitude of, if there's any confusion or any doubt as to who's going where, then just slow down even more. Just float around a bit in a wider section of canal and let it all unfold in front of you, and then move on when it is safe to do so, as a driving examiner said to me recently. So, my friends, almost as if to act as a case in point, we've just come down to a bridge where there's a load of boats moored up on the other side and a holiday boat coming up towards us. So like you say, my friend jumped off, I steered us into the side, and we're just holding on to the edge here because again we've got trees and stuff over the other side there, and yeah, just allow the other boat to pass us. And like you say, no worries, no issues, and we can all carry on. Right, let's go boating again. So we've just been dealing with some of the holiday traffic, and well, as you can see, we've got a very, very wide section of canal on this bend. Huge section of canal. Don't look at how bad the paintwork is as I zoom directly in on it. That will be getting sorted, I'm envisioning, in the next 2 months. I'm thinking September next month is when it'll be out and blacked and sorted. But this very, very wide section of canal here, I used to fetch Narrowboat Tilly down to and turn around when I had little trips with my family and my little sister and stuff, because I could come up from Frankton, where you can park easily next to the canal, and then obviously have a little trip up here, turn around and then head back down. Although obviously in hindsight there's a turning point only about 5-10 minutes tops from here, so yeah. Now I'm hoping that I'm going to get a good opportunity to show you just what sort of rural surroundings we've got here on the Llangollen Canal, and this gap in the hedge is perfect for that. Like I say, you can see we're literally on the boat now. You've got your farmlands, your hillsides, your trees and hedgerows, and of course you've got cows all over the place, my friends. And as you can probably tell just from what you've seen in this video already today, and as I've said to my regular subscribers over the last few years, again, another random gap there, and it's nothing but scenery and rural countryside imagery. This is why I love it up here. There's people who would find this the most boring canal ever to be on. So far on this little trip, we've been blessed with only 1 or 2 spots of rain, so that's definitely a bonus compared to some of these recent days, as we're having every other, if it's an odd day or an even day, depends on whether it's going to rain or not by the looks of it. But as you can tell, with this sort of background that I hope you're seeing on screen, it's just a fantastic experience and a fantastic place to be doing anything, yet alone taking your entire home with you, so that obviously if it did start pouring down, we could moor up, run inside, and then have a pot noodle and then go to sleep. But you know what I'm saying, having the creature comforts that literally come with you. Well, as I've described it in the past, the boat, especially when I was on Narrowboat Tilly, was the headquarters to go off in these amazing places and enjoy being in the great outdoors. And the fact that, like I say, you could then untie that headquarters and take it 20 miles off to Whitchurch or something and have a completely different area to go and explore. It's just a bonus to the whole experience. Anyway, there's a bridge coming up, so I'm going to concentrate. So as you can see, at this point we decided to moor up, only about a 40-second walk away from where the car was. And as I wanted to put my bike in the back of the car for the first time to check that it actually fit in okay, thought we'll stop here. And well, as you're about to see, as we were pulling the boat up, we could see through the hedge that there were some road workmen around. And well, an extraordinary coincidence had occurred with the first time I'd ever fetched the car out to do this. So that's what we decided to go and investigate and, like I say, test the bike out as well. So we thought we'll stop here for the day, maybe move on in the next 1 or 2 days from now. Anyway, let's carry on. Right then, my friends, in a bizarre and extraordinary coincidence, just so happens that the first time I've ever fetched the car out to the boat, the road that we travelled down to get here has immediately been closed in the last half an hour after turning up and then fetching the boat down this direction. But luckily, as you can see, we're on a T-junction here, so we've got plenty of options. But yeah, well, that sort of caught me out. Anyway, yes, be a nice adventure as we go off-road, taking it over the old hills of Shropshire here. That may not be true. Well, my friends, as you can see, we've decided to stop moored up here just in case there's any more road closures. But really, what a beautiful experience it's been so far. Like I say, it hasn't been the uninterrupted clear blue skies that I may have hoped it would be to show you all on camera. But even with a little bit of cloud cover and a little bit of general wind in the air, what a beautiful day, what a beautiful place to be. So my friends, here we are back at the car, and as you can see, just as I had anticipated, we've got boats and all sorts going on just on the other side of the hedgerow here. Again, proving just how close to the canal we are. Oh, that's a big old engine roar going on over there, my friends. Sounds like some holiday boat drama. Anyway, sorry about that commentary and excitement. As you can see, with raised voices in the background too, we've obviously got an almost perfect fit with the bike in the back of the Fabia here. And that I can't explain to you. As I said, the reason I got this was because it's got a much bigger boot space and back end to it, I suppose you could crudely call it, compared to other similar cars like the Ford Fiesta and so on. But just seeing how, I mean, that's almost exactly how I envisioned it fitting in. So yeah, I am thoroughly pleased with that, my friends. And that's without even taking the back wheel off. So if it was a bit tight, I could obviously take that off, but that's starting to cause a bit more hassle and you've got to realign the greasy chain and all that. So yeah, we're having a very fun-filled, positive, happy day here. And if I just end this little clip on a beautiful rural scene, a gap in the hedge, and an awful lot of crops. I assume that's maize rather than corn, but I would maybe try and trick my friend here into eating one before I do and then decide what it is. Goodness me, you can hear boats again in the background. Right, let's carry on. Right then, my friends, ignore the weird location that I am currently filming from, and also ignore the fact you might see some graffiti saying Dan 2002. 17 years ago I wrote that on that wall. Anyway, ignoring all that, I originally had a proper ending clip to this video that I filmed out walking down the towpath away from Abel's Ark, but sadly, as you've also seen me use some voiceover sections in this video, rather than the original audio recorded with the video clip itself at the time, because basically the wind has just interfered too much with some of the recordings, and sadly I thought that the final bit to camera that I did was just too distorted because of the wind and the microphone. So I thought I'll just very quickly record this bit here to wrap this video up here in the car, and then hopefully I can get it uploaded later this evening. Should have decent signal where the boat is and what have you, but we'll see what happens. So basically, it's been an interesting experience today, actually going out and about with the car and the canal and these country lanes and that. But what I will say is that since having a car and starting doing a lot of random drives out to places I'm likely to have the boat, especially over the winter months, it's amazing how there's a lot more places to park up very near to the canal, or sometimes within sight of where I'd be able to moor up the boat, than I'd anticipated. Now, over the last year since I moved on to Abel's Ark, I've scouted out and kept my eye open for places I could park up very close to the canal. But now that I'm actually in that situation, it's becoming apparent that there's a lot more convenient places than I'd first anticipated, which is definitely good to know. Now, over these summer months, when the weather's hopefully and meant to be relatively dry, obviously it's not a huge issue biking in and commuting and all the rest of it. However, I do believe now that over the winter months, having a car it's literally going to change my life. It's going to make things so much easier. And I know that to people who might be on boats that live on them full time and are retired or work from the boat and stuff, that the idea of having a car might seem like, oh, flipping heck, that's a step back. But to somebody such as myself who has a job in a fixed location and obviously friends and family all based around the town that I grew up in and all the rest of it, it's amazing what a difference this is going to make. And firstly, like I said in the past, how much of the canal this is going to open up to me in terms of how much further away I can go from my sort of base area and where I'd have me winter moorings and stuff in years gone by. Obviously now, being in a convenient place during the winter months is far less of an issue, because with the power of a vehicle, obviously a convenient place is a much bigger area than when I would be hopping on a bike and pedalling, as I say, in the past, through flooded country lanes where, as I'm pedalling, my feet are going beneath the level of the water on the lanes because they're that flooded. But anyway, those are just a few closing thoughts. Sorry it's not in a particularly scenic area here. Anyway, I'm going to nip and see my mum, and then, I shall see what happens. I might go for a random drive all over the place and well, sooner or later I'll end up back at a canal, hopefully. Until the next time though, my friends, please do consider checking out my short books for the Kindle and paperback, all about boat life. I don't have a Patreon or anything like that, so if you want to support me and help me out, then that's a great way to do it. Feel free to check the links in the description if you want to see loads of boaty pictures and rural scenery and stuff. Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, all of that sort of stuff. Loads of links down below. Until the next time, my friends, though, have an absolutely fantastic day. Keep it interesting, keep it car-worthy, keep it boat-worthy. That was meant to be a tiller steering sign. And well, until the next time, my friends, have an absolutely fantastic day. Keep it interesting. And of course, my friends, farewell.